Welcome back to another episode of the Know Your Power podcast. I'm your host, juliarene.
And Kendall Aaliyah.
And welcome to episode number 2 of Becoming Her series. Today, we have my thing, which is the tactical steps on becoming her.
You're like so serious right now. I feel like I'm watching a newscaster.
I know, I'm like, hi, welcome. This is how you become her, number 1.
Number 1.
Well, this is just something, it's just fun. I like doing this kind of stuff. So today we're going to talk about actual tactical tools on things that you can do every day so that you can really embody this ultimate version of yourself. If you haven't listened to episode 1, go back to last Monday. Make sure you listen to that so you know what the hell that we're talking about.
Yeah, you're like, who's her? Who's she?
Her?
The singer?
She is you.
She is
her
all
is
of us.
You, and she's within you. So we're going to go over stuff like vision boards, journaling, manifesting, and visualization. So with this, you're going to want to grab your pen, or if you're driving, if you're doing cardio, whatever you're doing, if you're doing cardio, good for you. I'm proud of you. Keep going. And if you're driving, probably don't take notes while you're driving.
Yeah, no.
Probably don't
Mental
close your
notes,
eyes
maybe.
and visualize either, because you might need to visualize the road.
Pull over if it's that urgent.
Just pull over. It's time to grab your notebook or your little notes section on your phone. But the first part that I want to talk about is, like, before we get into any of this, I really want you to visualize the life that you want and to write it down. So first, I want you to literally just sit there and close your eyes and visualize what her is like when she gets up. Like, literally go through your normal morning routine. I'm so zen right now. Literally go through your morning routine from when you wake up in the morning. Like, do you wake up like super early? Do you wake up at like a really okay time and you like roll out of bed? Who's laying next to you? When you wake up and open the blinds,
20
like
cats.
What do you crazy cat
That's
lady?
my dream life.
Honestly,
okay, sorry.
It would be mine too, but Zach doesn't want me to have any cats.
Oh no.
Sad. But yes, so when you wake up like and you open your blinds, like what do you see? Do you see mountains? Do you see like your pool outside? Do you see like the ocean? Like, where are you living? And then when you go to the bathroom, like, are you rushing to do all your morning routine stuff and then just like living for somebody else and then rushing downstairs and making your coffee? Or are you just like leisurely waking up, doing your morning routine, maybe like do a little face roller, you put a little hyaluronic acid on your face? Like, what is it? I want you to be so detailed when you wake up in the morning, all of the emotions that you feel, what you do, what time you do them. Because right now you might be living a life where you're like waking up at 6 a.m. and like you're rushing to get all the kids ready and you're forgetting about yourself in the meantime. And then you're going to work and you're doing a job that you hate. Scratch all of that and literally dream the dreamiest dream that you could ever dream. And then once you do that, I want you to go to your journal and I want you to write this down. Like everything, like all the aspects of your day, how you feel when you wake up and you look in the mirror, like what do you say to yourself? What are the thoughts that she has? And if you catch yourself, this is the most important thing. If you catch yourself editing yourself or being like, no, like maybe that's too much. Like I want to be a bodybuilder or a professional. No, maybe that's too much. Like that is your cue that's the thing.
Nothing is too much.
That's the thing you need to go for. Like if there's something that you're scared of or you're hesitant to write, like you need to freaking write it and you need to make it a reality and just really put it out there. So after you do that, I want you to start with creating like an actual vision board. So like how can you create a vision board that actually works? We've seen vision boards and like they're all these like cool things, but how do you actually create one? And I've never like gone through this process of like properly creating one until this year. And it's crazy how much it works. It's actually the only year that I've looked at it every single day. Like I'll look at it for guidance. Mm-hmm. So pen and paper here or a note section of your phone. So the first questions that I want you to ask yourself in your journal, 3 to 5 core values. So ask yourself, what are the core values that matter to you personally? So with these, I'm just going to share like my honest examples and answers of what I did when I made my vision board, and it's working like amazingly right now. Is for me, it was like, what are the core values? Why did I put weather?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's supposed to say wealth.
Like, okay.
It's supposed to say wealth, freedom, vulnerability, personal development, humor. These are really big things in my life that I live by. Like, obviously, humor is a really big part of my life. It makes me not take myself so seriously. So what are those core values that mean something to you? And they'll be different for every person. All of these will be a little bit different. And if you're having struggle, literally just Google like core values. Yeah. And a bunch of them will pop up.
Before we even continue, I'm working on my vision board literally right now. I bought like all of the stuff for it last night.
We're podcasting right now. How could you possibly do
This second, I'm multitasking under the table.
You're like,
no, so I think I'm gonna either like do a little video segment on my TikTok or on my Instagram, or I'll like put it on my story. Just we'll put it somewhere as I make mine. We might even put it on like the Know Your Power Instagram. I can like send some photos as I'm making it. But Pinterest is my best friend for everything always. But same, I was like looking up core values on Pinterest, and there's so many ideas on there. So if you don't even know where to start, that's a good place to start.
I also forgot to mention that my sister/assistant made a template for everybody. So it's going to be linked in the description, and it's for Canva. But like I would always grab pictures from Canva or Pinterest because they're just like so aesthetic. So once you're coming up with these core values, click the template and in the description, and it'll be there for you to just kind of fill it in.
Perfect.
And then like, what are the feelings, like what are the visual cues of freedom, of vulnerability, of personal development, of like humor, whatever yours are, what would that look like in a photo? So for me, it was like vulnerability and like freedom were really big. I just like found a picture of a girl that like semi looked like me, and she was all hippy dippy looking like she was free. And to me, like now I know what that means.
Yeah.
So number 2, 3 to 5 feeling words. This is how you want to feel when you wake up in the morning. For me, I put queen energy, abundant, tenacious, and charismatic. So also I literally did a girl that looks like me, and she was wearing a flower crown. So for me, it was like a good balance between like queen energy, but also like peacefully flowy and productive, which is still something I'm trying to learn every day. And then next, 3 to 5 feeling words. No, we already said that. 3 to 5 positive practices. Like, what positive practices do you want to implement into your life? Is it journaling daily? Is it meditating? Is it social media boundaries? Is it self-care? Is it listening to your body? Is it giving your pups love? Like, I have literally a photo of me just cuddling my dogs on my vision board, because I know that that's something that I don't do often. Like I literally just like go throughout my day, and sometimes I could forget them. So that's a reminder for me to like pause and like cuddle my dogs, because I love my dogs. Then we're going to go into your 3 to 5 biggest dreams. What are your biggest dreams with no filter? So for me, I wrote speaking on stage to fitness professionals about my binge eating story, 1 million followers on all my social media platforms, and I'm on the Olympia stage in 2023. So I found photos on Pinterest or on Canva that mimicked these things. So I literally just printed out a photo of Francielle on the Olympia stage. So I have that. And then I have 1 million followers on platforms. I literally screenshotted my followers from my Instagram, and then I erased.
Wait, that's really cute.
Yeah, I erased like how many I had, and I put 1 million instead. And it has my little profile picture. Like there's like silly things that you can do.
Yeah. And notice how Julia didn't say, okay, I currently have, I don't know how much you have, 250,000.
Yeah.
My goal's 300,000. Like
Yeah,
this
I was
is
just
not
like,
the
nah, I'm a
this is
million.
not the time. Yeah, this is not the time to shoot small. Like
Yes.
this is your vision board. This is your dream board. This is your dream life. You should shoot to where you actually want to be, not like what you think is safe.
Exactly. And that's the part about filtering. Like, yeah, don't filter yourself. Like, what is it that you really want? Because you are going to get exactly what you want. If you only want 5,000, you only get 5,000 followers.
Yeah.
Like, that's genuinely it. And for other positive, we already did positive practices. I already did that. Anyways, so speaking on stage to fitness professionals, for me, I literally just found like a picture of a stage with lights and like a girl who's standing on it. And I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, that's me. And the thing is that I'm already going to be doing that a couple times this year. So I've kind of already reached my goal it's in the future, but these things are super, super powerful. And I already talked about the Olympia stage thing. So we have the last one, 3 to 5 phrases. What phrases do you want to live by? So when you're doing these, remember these phrases should be something that you need to hear. Describe. I just wrote, I was about to read a little bit note that was my note. I was about to read a note on the page that was note to myself. It was like, hey, note to self. Anyway, so when you're doing this, like, what do you need to hear? What affirmations do you need to hear? And this is what I was telling you guys, that I look at my vision board literally every single day when I'm feeling like hungry or depleted, because I look at it and it's my reminder of those phrases and those things that I need to hear. And I'm like, okay, I literally have it right to the left of my desk, which is the majority of the time that I'm at.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of explain mine, because mine are things that I really needed to hear, especially this year. So I put that I'm poised but powerful, because for me, I'm thinking that power has to come with like being so disciplined and like masculine and this and that, but I can be poised while I do that. I can be peaceful while I do those things. For me, it was you're more powerful than you think. That's like the biggest one that I have on my board.
That's our tagline, so you guys should have that too.
Yes. And then I release the need to control every situation while also maintaining my powerful presence. So for me,
it's a good one for you.
Control is been something in my life that I've struggled a lot with, because I think that I have like control of every single circumstance in my life. But the thing is that I don't. And that is okay. So releasing the need to have the control of every situation, like when it happens, what time it happens, where it happens, how it happens, most importantly. And I'll talk about this a little bit later with my story about becoming a pro. But what are the things that you need to hear on a daily basis? Like, are basically the antithesis of the negative things that you're telling yourself, like you look ugly, or your body is this, or you're not pretty enough, or you'll never find love, stuff like that. What is the opposite of that? Like, what is the actual truth that you need to hear every single day? Because when those thoughts come up, you're going to need an anchor, something that pulls you back into reality and is like, yo, girl, that's not exactly who you are.
Yeah. One of my biggest ones is always like, I am capable, and like, I'm capable of everything that's like coming into my life, because a lot of my, I would say like quote unquote issues, because I know that that's like negative talk in itself, but something I'm working on is that when I obtain something, I feel like I'm not like worthy or like capable of actually like maintaining it. So then I doubt myself. I literally have mine
here that says I'm worthy of achieving my goals.
Yeah, see, exactly. So I think it's like a good reminder for situations like that of like, okay, I'm capable of doing this. I'm worthy of having this. Like, those are really good like words to have in there as like phrases for yourself.
That's true, because one of the, like we were talking about in episode 1, is like one of the biggest reasons that people don't go for their goals is because they don't think they're worthy enough or capable enough or can handle it, or if it'll be too much. So stuff like that, like I'm worthy of achieving these goals. I am capable of handling everything that the universe is going to provide me. So what are those phrases that you want to live by? I'm going to go over those really, really quick again, just in case you guys missed them. So we have 3 to 5 core values, 3 to 5 feeling words. How do you want to feel? 3 to 5 positive practices you want to implement into your life. 3 to 5 of your biggest dreams, no filter. 3 to 5 phrases that you want to live by. So once we do this, then we can actually start creating our vision board. Use the template that's down in the description. Go and find pictures, stuff that inspires you. With the phrases that you want to live by, print those out into words and have those phrases on the vision board. And then everything else will be more of like a photo, like a feeling. Like, what does queen energy look like to you? What does someone who's tenacious and charismatic? What is someone who lives freely and vulnerable? What does that all look like? And what, like if you wanted a certain amount of followers on Instagram or a certain amount of money, like what does that look like? What's the visual representation of that? Okay. After that, journaling. This is a tool that we've been talking about so much. And first of all, if you don't have the Know Your Power journal, it's in the description.
What are you doing?
What are you doing with your life? It's literally a guided daily journal for morning and evening. And if you're somebody like me who, when I first started journaling, I was like, what the hell do I write? I literally was just like, I would start by being like, I don't know what to write. This is so stupid. Okay. And it's okay if it starts like that at first, or it's okay if it's only a couple of sentences, but a couple things that can get you like inspired to actually journal is literally just start by like a diary, like writing about your day. That's still how I journal. And eventually what starts to happen is that you start saying more and you start saying more. You're like, I woke feeling up like a little tired today, but I'm feeling like really positive, even though I'm still a little bit tired. And you'll see that it's literally a representation of like your growth in these journals. I have journals dating back to like when I was in middle school, and I can see just my personal growth. I can look at this time last year when I was competing and like how I felt. And like, I'm like, I don't feel that way anymore, or I've achieved that goal.
I think that's why it's good to write the good and the ugly, because I love looking back and being like, whoa, like this time last year I was in such a different place, and it makes you like reflect and appreciate everything you have now, or vice versa, like looking at your old accomplishments. Like I only have mine tracking back probably like 3 years now, but I went through them the other day because I was just like curious. I haven't looked at them in a long time, and it like made me emotional because it's just like cool to have something to track your entire life. And like, do I journal every day? No, I'm just like, that's something on my vision board that I want to get back into, but I journal at least once a week, and it still encompasses like how I was doing at that time. And it is really I guess like fascinating to look back on.
It is really fascinating. There was like one day where, because I have this like box that I keep all the journals in, and I forgot that it was there. So I went and I looked back, and for me, I remember writing the same negative emotion that I was feeling over and over. And reading that, it was such an eye opener to me because it taught me that like you're still struggling with that, girl. And so I was reading it and I was telling Zach, I was like, it was so sad to read it because it was sad, but it was very helpful because I was still, I don't even remember what it was, but I was still saying this same thing over and over. And that was like a cue to me to be like, okay, that's enough. This was 2 years ago and you're still saying the same shit and it's obviously not working. So it can be used for positive reinforcement and it can be used to be like, check yourself. Like you're still saying these negative things about yourself. So with the journal of using the Know Your Power guided journal, on the left, it's literally left is the morning, right is the night. And it's about like fitness and it's mindset as well. So if you're struggling and you're like, I don't want to come up with stuff, use the KYP journal. It'll be in the description. Secondly, like I said, journal about your day. Even if it's like, this is stupid, I don't know what I'm writing, this seems silly, just journal about your day like a diary entry would. And eventually you'll start to share more with your journal. And then also, if you don't have any inspiration, look up journal prompts.
Yeah. Canva has those too. So after you finish like your Canva outline for your, I can't think of words right now, for your vision board, you can also like stay on Canva and look up like journal prompts, and they have like printable pages even if you want just like a few prompts to do instead of buying like a whole journal to start, just something. Yeah,
anything to like get yourself to have some inspiration. And it's also cool to just see like, how do you respond to these prompts? Like, is it how you thought? Is like, what is actually in this and where can you learn from it? Where can you grow from these prompts? I love doing those. If I'm just like, I don't know what to write or I'm not feeling very motivated, I'm like, okay, let me find a prompt that'll really just like dig into this kind of feeling so we can figure out what's going on. It's really cool because sometimes you'll journal and like it might be something that's negative. And then once you read back, I've done this so many times when I read back and I'm like, oh, I solved that. Like by the end of that, I literally was like
self-therapy.
I'm thinking blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, it's probably because I'm doing blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, Julia, you're being, okay. I see
blah,
what you
blah,
did there. Is a blah, blah, blah.
I noticed the trend of mine since the beginning of journaling. Even if I was having a bad day at the time, I would write about the bad day. And then I would try to always write the ending because it's not like I would write and then like close my book and go to sleep. So I'd write like something I want to do better, at least for the rest of the day, or like something positive I can like focus on for the rest of the day, just something, you know? So even if you notice yourself like being very negative in the beginning, just try to find like one or two little glimpses of positivity in there or like something you can improve at, and then kind of just roll from there.
Exactly, because you don't want your journal to just be like a bunch of sad shit. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is. Like I have tons of journals dating back with all my shows where it's just like very, very negative, but then I can see the progression of the next days. I'm like, I'm feeling better than I did yesterday, and I'm feeling better than I did the day before. So it's really cool.
Journaling helps you look at your thoughts objectively because like you're talking to yourself. Yeah. And when you have it down on a paper, it's almost like it's someone else's thoughts and like someone else's words on the paper, so you can assess it from like a different point of view, versus if it's just in your head, it's very easy to like be set on, well, this is just how it is, instead of looking at it objectively.
That's a perfect way to describe that. I think that's what I was trying to say earlier, but I just couldn't. So that was perfect. Okay. That was perfect. That's exactly it. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Okay. And the last thing that you can do also, so now that you have already like figured out what her looks like, what she feels like, what goals and dreams and desires and actions does she have, I want you to literally write them down as goals. Like you can do this however you want. You can just use your vision board or you can write them down. For me, it's the repetition of it. This is just personally what works for me, so I wanted to share it with you. But every single day I write on the left like a journal prompt of whatever it is that I'm feeling, how my day is going. And then on the right, I write the same goals over and over and over. I literally have zillions of pages of the same thing. Well, not the same things because I cross them off when I've achieved them, which is really cool. So when you're doing this and when you're writing, being very specific, very deliberate with what you want. So for example, if you want a new car, it's like a dream car of yours. I don't want you to write, I want a new car. I want you to say, I have a 2022 white Jeep Wrangler or whatever by this date and time. Like be so specific with it, because the more specific, the better. I'm telling you, this is exactly what I did with my Jeep. I was like, I want to blah, blah, blah. And we got that shit. We got it. Of course, it comes with like, having all of the other things, all the ducks in a row, but being very specific with the things that you want. So, and I really want to stress the key of saying, I have, or I am. Mm-hmm. I have this thing. It is here. It is in the universe somewhere. It is already mine. It's just a matter of releasing control of when it comes to me. And then I am confident. I am powerful. I am empathetic. Whatever these things are, you are it. It is you. So
you are her.
You are her.
I think another thing to note, I know Julie is really good at this, but the same way you sit and visualize you as her in her future life is the same way you should visualize any goal you're writing down. Yeah. So like close your eyes. How does that Jeep look? How does it feel? What is it like on that day when you buy it? Yeah, exactly. Like you want to visualize everything, not just like the overall goal. And then everything else is like, well, I guess I want this. I guess I want that. Like that you have it. So you need to visualize yourself as having it.
Exactly. Cause you're like, the things that we think become our reality. And if that's the case, like if we can make reality out of our negative thoughts, why can't we make reality out of our positive thoughts? Like if you continuously like imagine yourself and you're just like, this is how my life is. I'm always going to be driving in this car. It's always going to look like this. Like that's going to be your reality. But if you switch it up and you start adding little coins into the bank of like, no, I'm driving in this car. I have this dog. I have this relationship with my partner. Like you are putting it out into the universe and the universe will start working for you. And it's finding its way to bring all of those things to you. I'm telling you, this shit works. And I'll explain why. So the next section is manifesting and visualization. We hear all of this stuff a lot, especially manifesting. But for me, there's like 3 like separate little tips for it. But first, I wanted to share with you my actual story of how this came true, why visualization is so important, why we started this episode with it. Because you're literally acting out the life that you're going to have, that's already yours. So for me, I started doing this when I was going for my pro card. So every morning when I was on the Stairmaster, and for me, I can close my eyes when I do the Stairmaster because I can hold on to the railings.
I would fall,
yeah,
so.
I can't do it when I tried this morning to do it while I was on the treadmill, and I was like, no,
not
don't do that. But I closed my eyes when I was on the Stairmaster every single morning, and I would visualize what it looks like for me to walk out on stage, what my posing looked like, how the audience react, what it sounded like. I can hear my dad screaming my name and like so detailed, the lights that are blaring and then the little shadows of the judges, because that's very real. And if you have an opportunity, like go to this place, put yourself in these situations that are conducive to your goals. So like, for example, if there's a house that you want, drive in the neighborhood of those houses. If there's a level of wealth that you want, go and stay one night at a hotel of somebody that would have that much money. Like if these are things that you were able to do, there's obviously like some things cost a little bit of money, but put yourself in these situations to where you are there. That's what I did with the Olympia. I was there. I was watching the stage. I know what it looks like. I've examined where the judges are. So now when I visualize, I have such a clear picture of what it looks like, and I've already done it. I'm already there. So I literally visualize myself going back to the pro card, walking on stage, doing my routine perfectly, having so much confidence, smiling, looking at the judges. I can hear, smell, taste, like what were all of the things that were going on. And the biggest thing for me was hearing. So I heard a specific announcer that is one of the biggest announcers on all the shows, and he says, "Your new IFBB pro, Juliarene." And if you guys have watched my YouTube channel, you know that that's my intro. And every single time, I'm not gonna take it off. I mean, I don't even know if when I make it to the Olympia,
if I'll take it. Miss Olympia.
Yeah, until it's there, I'm probably going to keep it. But the reason that I keep it so much is because I imagined that exact announcer saying my name and saying, "Your new IFBB pro, Juliarene." So when I went to my first national show to try to get my pro card, Kendall was there, I got 5th place. So I didn't get my pro card. And what's crazy is that I didn't feel the emotions that I felt in my visualization. I didn't have my it wasn't on point. Like there was something that was off. There was a different announcer who was announcing the pro cards. The guy that I heard in my visualization, he wasn't there. When I went for my second time in Arizona, I got my pro card. And guess who was announcing? that exact guy.
The story always gives me chills. I think I've heard it 2 or 3 times now. I still love it.
It's crazy. It's just so crazy how this shit actually works. It's not a coincidence that that first show, I didn't get my pro card. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't physically, spiritually, emotionally, my body wasn't ready, all of those things. And the announcer was definitely not there.
Yeah.
And in my second show, I remember stepping on stage and just having this unbelievable knowing that I had arrived and it was my time.
Yeah.
And guess who was announcing? The guy. So when he says, your new IFBB pro, juliarene, it was like I already lived it. I had already lived it every single day on my hours of cardio in the morning, that when I received it, I was like, yeah, that's right.
That's level
about right.
of I already have it confidence too radiates so deep into everyone around you. Like, like not just watching Julie on stage, because every time I've seen her on stage, when she does have that mentality, it's impossible to take your eyes off of her. But like in every aspect, say you want that job promotion, when you walk into the room and you're like, I have this, I deserve nothing less than this. People can sense that. They can feel that off of you.
Definitely. And one of the biggest things too is I knew who was going to win 2021 Olympia. I knew Francielle was going to win the first Olympia based off of how she came on stage. You can tell.
She owns.
You can tell.
She owns.
And I literally,
the stage is hers.
And she had disappeared for years, and I don't think many people predicted she was going to win. And when I saw her step on stage, I knew that she believed in all aspects of her life that she was going to win. You can see it. You can see that she knew, this is mine and no one's taking it from me. And she won. She's 2-time Miss Olympia now. So having that energy when you go into your relationships, when you talk to your friends, when you're out in public with people, just having that energy of like, I'm here and I am all of me and I'm not leaving anything behind is so important. Cause like my confidence from that first show to that second show, that's what made the difference. And it's so wild. I encourage you guys too to go watch Laura Lee. She's a 2-time Arnold winner, and she has a YouTube channel. Go watch her first Arnold win, because the way that she was speaking about how she felt and how confident she was and how ready, and she knew it was her moment and she won. There's a direct correlation between like how you feel and what energy you're bringing and what result you get. It's unbelievable. So I watched that and was like, oh my God.
I've never seen her channel.
And it's crazy because I was there. I was there watching her. I was even in the YouTube video in the background.
That's funny.
It was so crazy. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. And it's crazy that I didn't know that all of this was happening for her, that it just all lined up. Like she had been through so much that year before with some drama with a past coach. And I saw it and was like, she's going to win, and it's hers. And it was, it's just so crazy. So now going into like actual tactical tips on like manifestation. So step number 1, write down your goals in great detail. So you guys already heard my example of like the Jeep one. What is it do you want? I want to compete in 2023 at this show, this time, whatever. I want to be the best poser on stage and have like the most confidence and blah, 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 whatever it is. Very, very detailed. Number 2, visualize with gratitude that it's already yours. So when you're visualizing, like we talked about earlier, I want you to visualize in such great detail, but not only that, take it a step further and actually have gratitude that it's yours. What's crazy is the emotions that start coming up when you start feeling this is unbelievable. Every time I do it, I almost cry because it's actually like I'm living it.
It's powerful.
It's so powerful. And then number 3, go to fucking work. Because like we said before, you can do all of these dreamy things and make the vision boards and all this stuff and write all the goals, but there has to be an alignment with the work and the goal. You have to act in accordance to what that person, like what would Miss Olympia do? What would this girl who has this executive position do? What is this mom that is 100% there for her kids? Like, what does she do? They have to align.
Yeah. And on the flip side, what don't they do? You know, what habits are you currently doing that they would never even consider doing? And those are things you need to kind of like assess about yourself.
Big facts. Well, I hope this episode helped you guys.
I loved listening to this episode.
We went over so much. so
This is
much.
a good one.
My girls in my program are literally going through this step by step, like right now. And it's really cool to see theirs and how fun it is to actually like create your vision board and to like get so artsy with it and to start writing these things down. But remember, like once you do this, there has to be action that comes with it. You can't just have your vision board collecting dust on the side. Like you have to, what are the habits, the rituals, and the routines and the feelings that this girl does to get these things?
Yes.
Yes. And as always, I love you all so much, and you are more powerful than you think.
Bye.
Bye.